Okay, I recording this video Sunday 3rd of March 2013. Hope you're having a good weekend. Just going to run through one of my trades this week. Nice one shot, one kill on Wednesday, because I got this email this morning from Keith. Keith says, "Good morning, Barry. Thank you for the update, always appreciate it. I have a question about your one shot, one kill on Wednesday 27th of Feb. You mentioned you got long right away. Like to know where and what made you take a long and not a short first. Why not short instead right away, 8:33 a.m. at 1393.25. I think that should be 1493.25. As we broke below the pros on the 500, 1500 and 4500, and we were in a downswing on the sine waves on these time frames as well. I'll make you a deal. If you respond to this request, I promise not to bug you for the next month. And if you do a video of the entry, I'll make it 2 months. Keith." Keith is a man who has sent me 108 emails over the last 2 years. I don't know what you think about that out there. Certainly have not responded to, by any means, all of them. I think I do quite a hell of a lot for Zip. I think the indicator's a very good value at $425, and I think, doing an update, not every day, every other day, for free, for 20 minutes or whatever. You can come to the site, see what's going on. I think that's a lot, given a lot. But there are people out there like Keith who think that they can just send endless emails, that I'm the new best friend, and that they can ask questions. And, I don't have a problem with Keith. Keith, send your emails, don't send your emails. It doesn't matter. My life is important to me, and I'm not going to spend my life replying to emails. I just delete them. It's no big deal. But you have to think for yourself. You can't rely on me. One day I'm going to shut the site and say goodbye. I've made my money. I'm not interested anymore. Trading is hard work. It kind of tires you out. It exhausts you. And there will become a day when, maybe it won't be free. I don't know. But you have to think for yourself, please. It's like, don't send me your first response, your first idea, when you don't get a trade set up. It's like, don't send me an email. Look at your charts, see what's going on, figure it out for yourself. For me, the most important question is why. Why did the market do what it did? Just keep on asking yourself that, and keep on putting indicators on your charts until you find something that will answer that question. Why? Why did the market do what it did? But it's an interesting question, so I'm going to have a go at answering this. So let me just pull up, first of all, the 1500 tip bar chart, and this is what we're talking about, this trade. This is this Wednesday 27th. I was long 95 even. So the market had just opened. Now, just reviewing what had happened the day before, let's just look at the 4500 tip bar chart. Day before we bottomed out, okay, down here in the 80s. We'd had exhaustion selling, first bullish divergence on the 4500 tip bar chart, and then the amateurs, on these high time frames, the Rambo patterns become more and more important. So a Rambo right down here at 84, and we kind of raced away. What that shows me is all the amateurs want to be short. They're expecting the market to go down. They get wrong-footed again, the market kind of heads away. So because we've had this downtrend in place, and we've now broken into an uptrend, we need to see some kind of exhaustion buying pattern at the end of the day. The point I'm going to make in this video, and I'm going to refer to it with this weekend's activity, is a pullback to end of trend sequence. End of trend signals on better sine wave means that is the end of that little trend sequence. It does not mean that once we've seen an end of an uptrend, we immediately go into a downtrend. All it means is this activity has temporarily ended this trend. This move was a trend move, and it ended here. Now typically what happens is we go through some cyclical activity, and then we break into another trend move. And if we've exhausted ourselves on this uptrend, we'll break into a downtrend. And the first sign you'll get of breaks into a downtrend is breaking support levels on the lower time frames. So we start breaking supports on the 500, the 1500, and eventually the 45, if we've moved into another trend move on the way down. So all the end of trend says that's the end of that trend move. So then expect either we're going to break into another trend move if the market is so strong, we just kind of rest there and then break again, or we go through some cyclical activity, kind of figuring out, which way we're going to break and then look for the next break. Now, because we'd had this exhaustion selling the day before, we're looking for the market to top out with another exhaustion buying pattern. Now, on the 4500 tip bar chart, that's what happened with the next day. We had that Wednesday was an extremely strong day. I think it was like 20 points up to the highs. So end of this trend move, we go through some cyclical activity, support holds, resistance kind of comes in, whole bunch of blue professional bars kind of come in, and then we race away. And then on the upside, we get our exhaustion patterns, pull back to end of trend. So all this means is that trend move ended. We then went through some non-trending activity, some cyclical activity, and then we got a break into another trend move. On the 1500 tip bar chart, let's look at this some details. So again, bottom of that move was a pullback to end of trend on the downside. We happened then to break straight because we had our exhaustion selling. We broke straight into an uptrend. Now, this uptrend, by the end of the day, we'd reached, pullback and dirty end of trend overshot and a nice little pullback to end of trend. We'd had our exhaustion buying on the left shoulder, kind of up here, and so we temporarily kind of topped out. These little exhaustion selling moves kind of down here, first of all, this is profit taking here, anxious to take profits, and again anxious to take profits. It's not like these were exhaustion patterns that are happening on left shoulders at the end of a trend move on the way down. You can see that we didn't really go breaks below the supports into a trend move. So this is just showing the strength of the selling at that point. Because the market had topped out this way, I'm always looking, and if we'd had our exhaustion buying on the 1500 during the end of that day, I'm always looking for, I talk about the professionals using the full liquidity of the market during the open of the next session in order to have another exhaustion pattern to end that move. So all we did overnight, we had some initial profit taking. Overnight, we just went nowhere, and the support levels are holding. Got a little bit of weakness here. We've got professionals kind of taking profits here and so on. And then we're setting up. We're setting up with resistance kind of comes in here on the 1500 tip bar chart. We got resistance on the 4500 tip bar chart. Got a little resistance here on the 500 tip bar chart. Now, key point is here, we had these resistance lines on the 500, 1500, and 45. We started to initially break the lows of these blue professional bars. Why wasn't this a downtrend? Well, on the 1500 tip bar chart, the last signals we had were exhaustion selling on the downside and bullish divergence, showing people kind of taking profits here. But we hadn't had an exhaustion buying pattern, in order to end this move. We'd had one yesterday, but I talk about, again, the full liquidity of the day in order to the professionals to kind of use that and get out. If you go up to the 45, if that's kind of confusing on the 1500 tip bar chart, just look at the 45. We kind of bottomed out here, pull back to end of trend, and we had all these blue professional bars kind of coming in, then we broke above it again. Since about August of last year, Pro-Am used to just kind of turn them on a dime, and I would look for quarter point breaks at Pro-Am. But in the last 4 or 5 months, I have been talking about waiting for a little bit more confirmation about a half point kind of break of Pro-Am. And something's happened in terms of the high frequency traders. That's why I'm looking for a little bit more confirmation. Pro-Am is not, I wouldn't say it's not as accurate. It's still accurate, but there's just a little bit more volatility around Pro-Am, and I think that is because of what the high frequency traders have done kind of instead over the last 6 months. But it's good to kind of just sit back and just, there's no rush in order to kind of get into this trade. We had our trend move and we broke into another trend move. So 1500 tip bar chart kind of again, as soon as you see the blue professional bars, we initially kind of go this way, but I'm still looking for that exhaustion pattern. And then as soon as we get a break, if you had gone short here, but all of a sudden we kind of break above the highs, you need to reverse, kind of go the other way. And there's plenty of room on that day. It was a 20 point move up. If you'd lost maybe a point and a half on the reverse, kind of going this way, there's plenty of room to kind of make it up on the other way around. So that was what I was looking for, and so I got long 95 even. I jumped in just as this was kind of breaking, and it kind of raced away. Initially made 4 points. It was very quick. I was out at 842. Just as the next blue professional bar kind of comes in with exhaustion buying, pro signal exit here. So it was a nice one shot, one kill, 4 points out at 99. The market then just raced away. I wasn't trading after that. I kind of went back to bed after watched it for a little bit. I was surprised it kind of went so high, but what that shows is this: the amateurs were just all trying to short it the day before and expecting a downtrend. Now, similar type thing is kind of setting up at the moment on this weekend, and that's why I want to talk about these kind of end of trends. So with the 40,500 tip bar chart, and I talked about this on Thursday's commentary, just saying, did we have to wait for this pullback to end of trend sequence on the 40,500 tip bar chart? And so with the open on Sunday into Monday's activity, we're likely to get, you can see we've got a pullback at the moment on this time frame. Got all these blue professional bars kind of come in. We had this, really anxious to, sell the move. I think I was reading Zero Hedge, and it's something like 13,500 contracts or something like that, kind of selling this move down. Maybe I got that number wrong in my head, but anyway, it was a lot of selling, kind of getting this move going. We bounced back up, another blue professional bar. We're about to get that cyclical cross on better sine wave, which will show us that end of trend move. Now, remember, yes, sometimes end of trends, that's the end of the uptrend, and then we break into a downtrend after some cyclical activity and so on. All it means is that temporarily, the end of that uptrend is in place. Now, the last one that we had, was weeks ago. Again, pull back to end of trend. It just shows the end of that trend moves in place. And usually we can expect cyclical activity after that. And you can see on the 40,500 tip bar chart, this is exactly what we've had for weeks and weeks. Cyclical activity on this higher time frame. All of these support and resistance levels not being broken. I mean, we get a tiny overshoot here and here, but anyway, effectively they've not been broken. And we kind of creep back up to 1530. And then we have a little bit of weakness here, break of support, we break of resistance. I mean, it's been very uncertain over the last week and a half. And finally we, exhaust ourselves, bullish divergence, have a little bit of a runaway here to pull back, and we're about to get end of trend. But what happens at this point here, 1520 type level, we couldn't get through here, and here. The market, a lot of the amateurs want to kind of short this. I want to short this. I see weakness. I see, weakness around the world. But the strength in the US dollar is kind of the money's flowing into the US markets. It's not flowing into commodities. It's definitely flowing into bonds. It's not. Maybe they're not kind of taking profits. Maybe in equities. Maybe they're just kind of holding on. All this move means, pullback to end of trend, is there's a potential change in trend. If the market is still strong, if there's so many people that have kind of got short, we bust through these stops at 24.5 was an important level here. Up here at 30 will be another. I mean, maybe the professionals will look at this and say, wow, that's a gift. I know at 24.5 there are stops to be run, and then as soon as we kind of run the stops up to 30, there'll be even more up there to be run. So maybe they're looking, we can get another uptrend move because we can bust some stops and kind of go out. We have to wait and see. I know I can see blue professional bars kind of coming in here. They were anxious to sell it down. The next time we kind of come in, we don't get to 24.5. They come back here at the end of the day. We know the buying is extremely weak here, but do we need another kind of explosive move, busting those stops in order to get everybody on the wrong side again, and then they'll take the market down? I don't know. All I'm seeing is, potentially the end of this move. We could go through a little bit of weakness, some cyclical activity, maybe kind of roll over. Just as I'm thinking about this, I'm just going to pull up my oscillator chart. So these are just the trend systems that kind of shown that we were still in a little bit of an uptrend here. We had a little bit of a whole cluster of buy signals during this low. We got up to 70 on Friday. We're looking for a turn. It's not quite overbought. Kind of 100 is about kind of overbought. Don't know what's going to happen on Monday. I know that this 24.5 and 30 levels are going to be really important. Maybe we've gone far enough, and if the news over the weekend is viewed as pretty bearish, we've got kind of uncertainty in Europe, and some of the numbers on out of the US were looking fairly weak, and people are talking about, we could be actually in a recession. Maybe we could see some selling first thing Sunday evening, and then we kind of take this down, and that ends up being a turning day on Monday. So potentially, on Monday it kind of goes in. All I know is we'll have that end of trend kind of go in. We'll have a little bit maybe of some cyclical activity. But if it busts through, all that's shown us is this has been at the end of a trend move here, and we break into another trend move on the way up. I'm just going to wait and see. There's no need to rush in and anticipate. Wait and see what the price action kind of shows you. So That's a little bit of a review of that trade from Wednesday. So, just going back to Keith's email, no hard feelings. Keith, I appreciate you're just trying to do the best you can, be the best trader you can. And, when I do see a question that interests me, something I think is worth talking about, something that resonates with me, I'll definitely answer it. Just be aware that I do get a lot of emails, and it's just impossible to reply to everybody. So anyway, I hope you're enjoying your weekend, and let's see what happens on Monday. Got a long 95 even. Long 95 even. Checking my stops and targets. And that's good. Blue professional bars just come in. I was kind of jumping and and before those showed up. Yesterday, we kind of sold off and started a rally. Had a very weak kind of exhaustion buying signal kind of up here, and we've just been doing nothing much overnight. And to top this thing out, we've got to go for an exhaustion buying on 1500 sometime. So we've got kind of resistance in here. Yeah. Let's see, maybe that was just a kind of violent push down. We'll kind of come back. So we're stuck in this kind of channel. Expecting a breakout kind of above this like 97 level, and then we'll get our exhaustion pattern. But just pushing down at the moment. Looks like that was just a little bit of violent kind of push down. Got another kind of blue professional bar kind of coming in 45, so quite a lot of professional activity. Here we go. Right at the beginning of the day, we've got this resistance at 97, we've got this resistance at 95, 96s, and just going to jump out of this channel. Okay, a couple of Rambo patterns there, so might maybe find some weakness. There we go, Rambo. Okay, there we go. Got the break, so we've got a break above 500. So that's into a trend move, hopefully there. That's kind of showing the strength of the buying. And got the break above 1500 as well. So target's at 99. Nice kind of round number. Then we're looking for that exhaustion pattern on 1500. So let's see if we get there. Up to 97s and a half, and we're not seeing any blue professional bars yet. But resistance here, kind of running away. Just going to keep my target where it is. Come on. Go. Out at 99 even. Excellent. Blue professional bars kind of coming in 4500, 1500, 13,000. Decent reading, exhaustion type reading. So we don't have to sit through a pullback to end a trend. Out at target at 99 even. One shot, one kill, 4 points, and 8:42 AM. Well, just gonna watch it for a while, but good.